Hi, so this is Jamie Paul. I'm a student with Aspen University taking Leadership Theory RLC 8 with Dr. Bob Campbell. I'm working on my Module 4 homework assignment, which was to create and post a video to YouTube. I'm going to be talking today about four different leadership theories: contingency leadership theory, the continuum theory, the path goal leadership theory, and leadership substitutes theory. All these are covered in our book, Leadership Theory, Application, and Skill Development by Lussier and Achua. So the first one, contingency leadership theory. In this one, it was developed by Fiedler, and what he did is he looked to see whether a leader's behavior or leadership style was more task-oriented or more relationship-oriented. So as a leader, you basically can take a survey and it looks at your LPC, your least preferred coworker. And it's not really about the coworker, it's about the leader taking the survey to determine if you're a more task-oriented or a more relationship-oriented leader. And then the model further goes on to look at three different factors: leader-member relations, task structure, how structured is the task, and then position power. And what his theory really looks to do is try to match the leadership attribute or method of leadership to the appropriate other factors, including leader-member relationship, task structure, and position power. So just for example, he believes that leaders can't really change their styles. It's easier to change the context, in other words, change the task structure or the relationship, than change the style. So for example, if you find that you're a leader who's a more task-oriented leader, and the context is looking for a more relationship-oriented leader, then what you would do is look to change the situation or the context to better match your leadership style. This is different than the other models that we're going to look at or discuss today, in that the other ones all seek to change the leader's style to match the situation, which is different. Just one quick example in Fiedler's examples is that if, for example, you have good leader-member relations, strong task structure, and strong position power, then that would be appropriate for a task-oriented leader. Task-oriented leaders are goal drivers, get the job done, when can you have this done for me by, as they're all about the job, as opposed to all about building relationships and working with the people and those kinds of things. So the second leadership theory that we're going to talk about today is the continuum theory, developed by Robert Tannenbaum and Warren Schmidt. And what this does is it looks at a scale of 8 different decision methods that you can take to approach leadership. And they go from being more boss-centric or autocratic to being more employee-centric and have, for example, the employees making the decision. So you look at the different factors. How much time is there available? What's the skill set of the employees? What is the boss relationship like? And then you can plant yourself in one of these 8 different decision-making models. So for example, if time is short and a decision needs to be made quickly, you're the captain of a boat that's about ready to get sunk, and the folks around you are not very skilled. You maybe have to decide and announce what the decision is to get something done quickly. However, if you're leading very skilled employees and you have plenty of time, you're going to have a better outcome and a better, more positive relationship with your employees if you let them make the ongoing decisions or become more involved to the extent possible with the decision making. So those 7 different decision-making models range from state the decision and it's not open to discussion, and progressively get to where the employees make the ongoing decisions. Going through different phases. For example, the boss could let the employees make the decision within certain bounds or constraints, or the boss could present the decision, and that could be subject to change based on employee input. So one of the criticisms of this style is that the 3 factors are very subjective, in that, how is the relationship, what's the skill set of the employees, how much is not enough time to make a decision and get the employees involved. The next leadership theory that we're going to talk about is the path goal leadership theory. What that one does is it looks to select 4 different leadership styles: directive, supportive, participative, or achievement-oriented, basically based on different situational factors. Those can be environmental, relationship with the subordinate, including locus of control. Locus of control is the amount of determine their own fate, so to speak, that the employees have. Do they really believe that they can achieve what's been asked of them? Do they have sort of control of their own outcome? And then, of course, the environment. So in this theory, what you basically do is match your leadership style, directive, supportive, participative, or achievement-oriented, based on those factors. And the last one that we were going to look at today is leadership substitutes theory. So in leadership substitute theory, what this is all about is looking at substitutes for leadership. For example, you could have a highly motivated, self-directed team that want to go after and achieve a particular goal. Or you can also have factors that tend to neutralize a leader's behavior. For example, they could be working remotely and not directly there in front of their employees, or where they can observe, coach, and provide feedback to the employees. So what the substitute theory does is, as a leader, if you are skilled to look at and think about these things, you can either create substitutes for a lack of leadership, or you can minimize the things that are neutralizing your leadership. And in some cases, what that's allowed organizations to do is operate with fewer leaders or managers around, because you can create these substitutes or eliminate neutralizers. So those are the four leadership theories that we were going to talk about today. The one that I would try to employ at the plant that I work at is the path goal leadership theory. This one accommodates a range of employees. We have new people that have low skill, low experience. We have people that have been around for 30 plus years that have a high degree of skill. This one in particular allows the leader to become either directive or supportive, participative, or if you have a self-directed team that can work well together, they could be achievement-oriented. I think that this would have the best outcomes for everybody and has the greatest measure of potential for success at the plant that I work at. How I would propose to roll this one out would be to provide training to everybody on how the model works. And one of the problems with leadership models that are theoretical is, what does it look like when you're actually doing it? So part of the training needs to include, what are the behaviors, what does it look like, what does it sound like when you're using and applying the model. So if you're in a participative or a directive or a supportive role, what things should you be saying, how should you be acting, what behaviors do you exemplify? And then for these things to be successful, the leaders have to fully embrace and support that leadership model, which means that they have to demonstrate how to apply it and provide coaching and feedback to subordinates who are trying to learn the model. A effective method I saw that these things get rolled out at another plant that I worked at was that we trained a core group of disciples, if you will, and then those propagated the training throughout the rest of the organization. And then senior leaders then exemplified the behaviors and provided continual coaching. And we also, I would have continuing training. You can't do a one-shot and done when you're trying to change behaviors or adopt a leadership model. So you need to have initial training, continuing training, coaching and reinforcement by the senior leaders, and you have to show people what it looks like. And that's how I would roll that out at the plant that I work at. Appreciate your time today. I hope you got something out of the discussion of the four leadership theories, and look forward to moving on to assignment number 5. Thank you.